Hello, Kumaresh. Very good connecting with you. I think it's a great opportunity to connect with you during this whole COVID lockdown period
Oh, yeah.
on behalf of KnowledgeHut. So, as you're aware, KnowledgeHut has been the leading training partner across various technology and management courses, right? And as an organization, since we are in the training space, we've been quite keen to see how do we support the current situation, particularly with the whole lockdown. We know that a lot of people can utilize this time in the right way to upskill themselves, do a few certifications which could help them in their career progress. So we're just trying to understand what is the best way to go about it. And particularly for this interaction with you, I think agile has become a very common term that we hear around us now. Um,
Yes.
Particularly that, after the whole work from home thing started around the world, uh, I hear people say, be agile, do agile. And I personally have been very curious about what that means, right? So I'm going to take this opportunity to understand more about Agile and Scrum, and also help the viewers know about how this is going to help them and whether this is a course that they could consider during this period for them to upskill.
Sure. Thanks a lot,
I
Shruti.
would
Thanks
I
for
would
this
love for you
opportunity.
to absolutely our pleasure. I would love for you to give an introduction about yourself before we begin.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again, Shruti, for this opportunity, and thanks to Knowledge Hut. It's very important for us to understand all these scenarios and questions. So, just to introduce myself very quickly, my name is Kumaresh Krishnamurthy, and I've been in IT for over 21 years. And I embrace agile fully. Agile is a passion for me, and I literally live agile every single day. So professionally, right now I work as an enterprise agile coach, where I help companies with the transformation journey from waterfall to agile to scaling agile. Right, that's the journey itself. So this is what I do.
Lovely.
Great.
So I'm gonna. So we have these frequently asked questions from anybody who's considering Agile as a program, right? So I have a set of questions which we have received from people who consider doing this course at this time. But before that, like I said, I'm very curious to understand what does be agile, do agile mean? What does it mean to an individual? What does it mean to companies? What does that phrase indicate?
So people have a lot of definitions of agile itself, right? Some people call it a method. Some people say it's a methodology. Honestly, it's neither of these. It's not a framework. It is not a method. It's not a methodology. Agile is a way of thinking. All right. So if you say I want to be agile, if you look at it, it's a set of principles and value statements. That's all. So when you go to agilemanifesto.org, you will actually look at these value statements. There are 4 value statements and there are 12 principles. The most important thing that people need to understand is look at these principles, look at these value statements, understand what these value statements and principles are, and start believing in them, make sense of it. That's the key to be truly agile. That's the starting point.
Great. So I'm actually going to get to the kind of basics to Agile and Scrum for anybody who's listening to this to understand. Like, I'm sure a lot of people come from this background, and I'm also sure that there are a lot of people who will find this concept new. Would you mind taking us through a very quick basic about what exactly is Agile and Scrum, and who
Okay.
should consider this as a course? Is it specifically for someone from a technology background, or could a business grad or any other specialized graduate also consider Agile and Scrum for a certification program?
That's a great question, actually, Shruti. The thing is, I truly believe that agile is for everyone. All right. I know it's very popular in the IT world. When I go to companies and I talk about agile, I've seen people, professionals, working in this industry for 20, 30 years, and they struggle to become agile. The reason is that agile is nothing but a change in mindset, the way you think, the way you plan. So I truly believe agile should be taught in school right? And colleges where, the change in mindset itself is cultivated early in their age, so it's part of their culture, so the way you think itself, right? So agile is nothing but a change in mindset, the way you plan things, the way you work. So it's, in fact, I use agile at home, to be very honest, in personal life. So irrespective of what profession you are in, to be very honest, concept itself makes a big change in your way of thinking, right? Your everyday life. So agile is a set of principles, as I mentioned, right? It's a set of principles. It's a set of value statements. See, we need principles in life, Shruti, right? Because without principles, we don't know what is right, what is wrong. We need ethics and principles in life. Similarly, to make the right decisions, right, in a project or in life, we can follow the agile principles and value statements. That helps us, guides us, make the right decisions. And Scrum, as we call it, people get confused with Scrum and Agile a bit. They use those two words interchangeably. So Agile is a set of value statements and principles, and Scrum is a framework which uses these value statements and principles to actually show the direction people who are using, Agile. So it's a framework which tells you exactly what to do when. So it is making our life easy, and it is also creating normalized understanding, common understanding to everyone in the industry, so that everyone speaks the same language, right? So that's what Scrum does. That's why it is extremely popular in today's world.
Right. Absolutely. So do we look at the way we have, if we talk about artificial intelligence, if we talk about machine learning, if we talk about all of these technology-driven areas in each company, how every startup, every enterprise is moving towards implementing artificial intelligence as part of their company,
Right.
to remain up to date to what they're doing, no matter how
Mhm.
young or how old a company is, right? So do you say Agile and Scrum is also one of those areas which are similar to artificial intelligence, or one of those upcoming robotics, for example? Everybody is looking at that. So is this also looked at as one of the streams which are upcoming and which is like the next big thing in terms of?
So, right, Agile and Scrum has been in the industry for a very long time. It's mainly a process, right? It's not related to technology. It's about how to do things. It doesn't matter you do robotics, you do machine learning, artificial intelligence, or even manufacturing for that matter, right? It's a totally different industry. Manufacturing of cars, of fabrics, or whatever it is, right? So agile is a process. It tells you how to do things, when should it be done. It creates transparency. So the main idea of being agile is to manage projects which can be done easily for the customer's benefit, right? Delivering true value to the customer, irrespective of the industry.
Right. But in terms of, what I mean to ask is in terms of a career
Oh,
opportunity,
yes.
right? Like nowadays, so
Right.
gone are the days when people used to say, I want to become an engineer, I want to become a doctor, or,
Uh,
or I want to become a CA. These were like set few professions.
oh, right,
Now, when
right,
I
right,
talk
right.
to the younger crowd, everybody has a different idea, and there is so much opportunity out there for them to pursue a career, right? And some of these, like robotics, AI, are areas which people are well aware of as the next big thing, right?
Right.
Not just in India, I mean, all around the globe. So,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
someone has to
yeah.
consider Agile and Scrum as a career opportunity, is that like the
Absolutely. Yes, yes. From that perspective, that is very much valid. Agile and Scrum is very big in today's world. Every single company is using Agile Scrum. And if you want to be a true leader within your organization, you have to be aware of agile way of doing things, and you need to be aware of how Scrum can be used as a framework in applying agile principles and practices. So absolutely, that is a career option, and it is going to become. It's very important for true leaders
right?
in the
Right.
industry. Yeah.
Again, if you look at the news channels, if you look at the news going around today, we see that even the largest of companies are facing tough times with, job um, retaining employees, or
Right.
there are a lot of job cuts, salary cuts that are going around.
Yeah.
um, and this is irrespective of the size of the company. No matter how established the company is, it is a tough time for a lot of businesses out there, right? And representing the employee side of the picture,
Mm-hmm.
it's very important for us to stay up to date, in terms of, for us to be at par with what every industry requires, right? We need
Right.
to be updated to the fact that we're trying out newer things. We are also adapting to technologies very quickly, right? So the same way, we see that for someone who's studied 10 years ago, who's never updated himself or herself with the new
Mm-hmm.
courses, with the new upcoming streams,
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard to retain them today, right? Because they're not
Right.
bringing
Right.
any
Right.
creative thinking into the company,
That's right.
particularly in today's world. Whereas if you see someone who's constantly been updating themselves, taking up certification programs, taking up um, different kinds of offerings from companies like KnowledgeHut, and of course the other edtech companies. For them, this they're needed in the company, right? Because company needs such people to have uh, the operations running, no matter how hard situations are.
Right.
So,
Right.
how do you see the whole COVID lockdown, taking this as a scenario, for someone who studied Agile and Scrum and who specialized in Agile and Scrum already? How do you see the whole crisis affecting them? Does it affect them at all? Or
Yes, that's a good question actually. So the thing is this: change is the only constant in life. To be very honest, right? So people who adapt to change fast are the ones who will be successful, right? And agile way of thinking brings about that mindset, right? So unfortunately, COVID has affected everyone in the industry today, right? But people who actually embrace change, right? People who are in the right frame of mind will be able to weather the storm better, right? And they will not have as much impact as others, right? So how to create that mindset? So that's what agile is all about. It creates that mindset, the way of thinking. It supports you, right? So agile and scrum course, people understand there is a need for change, so they take up new training opportunities. So this is a very good opportunity for people to get trained into something which is going to help them not only career wise, it's also going to help them as a person, right? So that they can handle these kind of scenarios better, with the right mindset. So people, you know, having who go through these scenarios, right? They become more prepared for such unforeseen circumstances, right, or changes in life, and they start helping each other, supporting each other. All these factors pretty much is brought about by learning how agile works, how scrum works. So this is a very good opportunity for people to get into this mindset, and training each other, getting trained in these concepts really helps, right? So I think agile, what it brings to the table is flexibility. It brings about flexibility. It prepares people for change. They become ready for change, right? People become more positive towards exploring new opportunities. That's what this is all about, right? So I think supporting even this webinar for that matter, right, it's going to help a lot of people because they will understand what is required for them to do to be ready for such unforeseen circumstances, not just professionally, also personally.
great. So, I think what you said is absolutely true. That change is the only constant, and I think we are in a generation where change is much more faster than we can imagine. We get used to a certain thing in life, and you realize that there's already a change. So I think we're well accustomed as people to be able to deal with change. So that is a great point. But I'm sure, so anybody who's watching this video could be someone like you who has an experience in the field, or it could even be someone who's not necessarily from the specific field. But my hope here, or the hope that Knowledge Hut has here, is the fact that they should at least the listeners should at least go back and read about Agile and Scrum, and then decide whether they like it, and then explore more about it.
Yeah.
The only objective being, in the end, it's about finding the right career for the individual, right?
You cannot go wrong with Agile and Scrum. That is a given. I would I would ask every single person to explore Agile and Scrum, and there are a lot of content with Knowledge Hut as well. Please go explore, understand what it brings about. It may or may not be for you professionally. That's okay, but you're not going to lose by learning what it is, because it's going to impact you personally. It's going to impact you in a positive way personally, right? And this is the thing, Shruti. The thing is, every single company today, more than experience, companies are looking for character of a person. They're looking to check the attitude of a person. They are looking to check if the person has the right mindset and how the behavior of the person is before offering a job, right? So probably even if you're say 60 to 70%, fitting the gap, or fitting the requirements, technical requirements, but that's just a part of it. The companies want other things in terms of attitude, behavior, character, having the right mindset, helping nature. All those things is what Agile brings about, in terms of its principles and values. And this is what will bring success to every person. That's guaranteed. Right.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you so much, Kumaresh. I think it's been very informative. But I think I'm going to, have give an ending to this chat with a question which I'm sure many people have in their mind. At least I have in my mind right now.
Okay.
Though I'm from the same field through Knowledge Hut, we kind of see the opportunity, but I'm representing a lot of people out there and asking this question. That,
Right.
just being honest, Agile is a great field. Agile and Scrum is an upcoming field. It's very important for all of us to be agile or do
Mhm.
agile. All that is great. But ultimately, the question in everyone's mind is, what is the job opportunity that is out there for someone who's trained for Agile and Scrum? Not just in India specifically, at a global level. If we aspire, if there is an aspirant who wants to go abroad and work and live abroad for a few years, or an aspirant who's looking at reaching the top level management in, say, 5 years, 10 years, what is the kind of scope that is there in terms of opportunity? If you could maybe give us some numbers about, in a company, how many companies look for a Agile and Scrum team, and if they do, what are the kind of numbers they look at? In terms of prospects and income levels, will you be able to give us some idea about that?
So I can give you a brief idea about that for sure. But this is the thing: every single IT company, and hey, nowadays this is the thing: every company is IT. Doesn't matter the domain, doesn't matter the industry, doesn't matter the sector, public sector, private sector, manufacturing, finance, even pharmaceutical, healthcare, right? Every single company has become an IT company, right? You know who is the biggest manufacturer of watch? Okay? Which company is the biggest manufacturer of watches? Apple, right? Apple is the biggest manufacturer of watch. This is how the world has gone towards, right? It's every single company is digital, and agile plays a vital role in their success. Okay, so it's not if the company is going to be agile; it's when are they going to be agile, right? So the opportunity is immense. There is always a shortage of good professionals. There's always a shortage of people with the right mindset in the agile space with companies. So there is huge opportunity every single day, and not just people who want to get into IT or initially, right, newbies, but people who have got experience. Even for them, it's not about being agile at the team level, right? they need to understand, in fact, their experience helps whole enterprise to be agile,
Right.
right? So that's how the world is today. Is you have to be agile. There is no question about that. You have to get into the space, otherwise you'll be left behind,
Right.
right? And from salary perspective, I don't know if that is what you're asking. So from salary perspective, I'm in Toronto, Canada, and I can see that people out here, they earn around around $100 per hour, right? 80 to $100 per hour to start with, and then as you gain more and more experience, you can go up to $140 per hour, right? So that's a pretty big amount. In fact, even beyond that. And there's so much demand that sometimes there is too much churn in the industry, right? Because you get too many opportunities coming from different places. So that's why companies do take care of good agile professionals in their own space.
Great. I think this last bit of the video is what is going to make people happy in the end. That finally we found a career opportunity which could be exciting and which is required at the same time, which is the need of today's work style. So thank you so
Right.
much, Kumaresh. It's been lovely talking to you. I'm sure the information that you've given us today is going to help a lot of aspirants out there, a lot of entry
Right.
level, mid level, and some cases even senior level professionals understand better about this. And like we discussed, I'm going to connect with you again to help companies understand how Agile and Scrum could be implemented in their own company.
Right.
Um, we'll have a little bit of discussion around enterprise as well, which is going to be beneficial for companies too.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Shruti. This
Thank
is
you very much.
wonderful. Hope it helps. Yeah.
Yes,
Thanks.
thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.